Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
University of Oregon President Michael Schill is taking action to limit the spread of the coronavirus, and that means changes to the university. Good evening and thanks for joining us for NBC 16 at 5. I'm Alan Matthews.
And I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Starting Sunday, the U of O is canceling all non-essential events of 50 people or more in efforts to stop the spread of coronavirus in Oregon. This means fans will be restricted from all sporting events, which will be limited to the athletes themselves and essential personnel. This means fans will be restricted from those events, and no final exams will be offered in person for this term either. For the first 3 weeks after spring break, classes will be offered remotely only. Non-essential school travel will also be suspended. This comes after an online petition of almost 5,000 signatures asked Schill to close campus. Right now, the campus is open and operating under normal schedule until Sunday, and resident halls will stay open over spring break.
For next term, if it comes to Lane County, I think maybe it should close just because of the risk that it poses.
The university is also encouraging students to consider staying put for spring break if their travel is to an area where the coronavirus is present. The school says it will have more information on how the university will proceed going forward no later than April 10th.
We are a week away from the start of the NCAA basketball tournaments, but this year March Madness will have a very different feel than previous seasons.
NBC 16 Sports Director Brandon Kmtr joins us live from Las Vegas, the site of this year's Pac-12 tournament, with an update on how coronavirus concerns are impacting the world of sports.
Brandon? The NCAA announced this afternoon that it is closing all of its upcoming championship events to fans, allowing only limited personnel, essential personnel, and a number of family members. So that would presumably include the NCAA March Madness basketball tournaments, both men's and women's, as well as indoor track and field, among presumably other events. Now that's, of course, very important for our local fans, as Oregon women's basketball and maybe Oregon State women's basketball were going to host 2 home games next week. They still probably will, but there will be no fans in attendance. Then the week after that, 2 weeks from now, is the Portland women's basketball regional at the Moda Center. There will be no fans for that. The Oregon men's basketball team will be heading on the road for the NCAA tournament, and possibly Oregon State if they win this Pac-12 tournament. No fans for any of those events. Now, we're here at the Pac-12 tournament right now, and as you can see, there are a whole lot of fans behind me. As the Pac-12 said, I spoke with Larry Scott, the commissioner of the Pac-12, and he told me that nothing is changing as of now, although other conferences around the country have closed their basketball tournaments to fans. But for the Pac-12 right now at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, fans are in attendance and the games are going on. An exciting game this morning as Oregon State moved on to the semifinals. We'll have more on that coming up later tonight. But big changes coming for sports in NCAA and sports really professionally, college and beyond. We will continue to monitor it as this stuff is fluid and coming in minute by minute. Live in Las Vegas, Brandon Kmtr, back to you.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for that report.
Well, the World Health Organization is now calling the coronavirus a pandemic. This as there are now 4 new presumptive cases in Oregon, which brings the total case to 19. The Oregon Health Authority confirmed 4 new cases in 4 counties: Polk, Marion, Umatilla, and Deschutes. Health officials say of the new cases, no one reported traveling to a country where the coronavirus is actively spreading. The Polk, Marion, and Deschutes cases had no known contacts with confirmed cases and could be considered community spread. This is Umatilla County's 2nd case, and officials have reason to believe this new case may be linked with the county's 1st case. Tonight at 6, President Trump is set to address the nation on the federal response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Here in Eugene, local officials are working on addressing coronavirus concerns in our area. The Eugene-Springfield interim fire chief, Lane County Public Health, and the city manager talked about what the community can do to help stop the spread of the coronavirus. Officials say they are monitoring the virus closely and on a daily basis, and they're working to test those who may have been at risk of being infected by the virus.
We absolutely are taking this seriously, especially as we're watching this disease move across the state of Oregon in different communities. We're absolutely working in cooperation with all of our partners associated with this, as well as looking at what other communities are doing and what's being effective.
Fire Chief Heppel says the decision on whether to cancel events is up to each venue and its organizers.
this is not a moment for panic, but it is a moment for people to be cautious and careful about themselves and where they're going, and recognizing what their own vulnerabilities are and responding to that.
Mayor Vinnis says the best way to get information is on the Lane County Public Health webpage and the Oregon Health Authority webpage. You can also reach the Lane County Call Center.
Well, as residents amp up coronavirus preparations, questions about how to keep the homeless population coronavirus free are popping up more frequently.
NBC 16 Stephanie Rothman explains what St. Vincent de Paul and Whitebird Clinic are doing to help the homeless stay healthy. Stephanie?
Well, Alan, those organizations say there's not much they can really do right now because no one has tested positive for the virus. But they do want to be proactive and are trying to be one step ahead by sanitizing common spaces. At St. Vincent de Paul Dusk at Dawn site off Highway 99, employers are stepping it up. They're bleaching and hosing down surfaces every hour, including sinks, common spaces, and tents. As for Whitebird Clinic, they too are sanitizing to help curb any possible cases from spreading.
We know that medical recuperation beds are very limited in our community, and we know that hotel rooms are often very limited in our community. And so we're hoping that our community will immediately start looking at the shelter issue as the key crisis that needs to be handled.
Brubaker says he's concerned about the lack of available space for the unhoused if they are infected. Right now, he says they're just taking it one step at a time. And both Whitebird and St. Vincent de Paul are currently in communication with local health experts to have a plan of action. They hope their efforts now will help them in the long run. Alan, Jacqueline.
All right, thanks a lot, Stephanie. Well, several Lane County events are being canceled due to the coronavirus. The 49th Daffodil Festival in Junction City has been canceled, while Food for Lane County's main fundraiser, Chef's Night Out, has been postponed. The Daffodil Festival, which was scheduled for next weekend, attracts around 7,000 visitors. Chef's Night Out was scheduled for the beginning of April at the Halt Center and has around 1,200 guests. Organizers of both events say the decisions were made out of an abundance of caution.
We just wanted to make sure we made good decisions that, one, allows us to fulfill our mission of providing food, and two, making sure everybody is safe.
It just made sense for us to lead the way in our awareness and say, not this year. We can't and don't want to risk it.
Chef's Night Out has been rescheduled for June 1st at the Graduate Hotel. At this time, the Daffodil Festival is canceled until next year, which will be its 50th anniversary.
Officials across the country are warning people to reconsider attending large gatherings.
NBC 16 national correspondent Atra El-Nashar explains how the road to the White House is becoming trickier to navigate as the coronavirus pandemic gets worse.
President Trump is known for massive rallies like this one. But imagine his campaign or that of any candidate without the crowds or fist bumps, handshakes, and hugs. Well, that's becoming a reality in the 2020 race.
As I've said all along, that we would follow the guidance of the CDC, state and local officials, and public health officials with respect to our campaign events. We'll continue to do that.
Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden nixed their rallies on Tuesday night. Biden opting for a small gathering of supporters. Sanders didn't speak at all, and his campaign says they will evaluate their events on a case-by-case basis.
The number one focus here needs to be how can we make sure that we're not exacerbating community spread, and I know that that's a real priority for some of the candidates, at least.
President Trump announced a large rally in Milwaukee next week, and the vice president said the campaign will make decisions about events on a day-to-day basis.
I'm very confident that the campaign will take the very best information and make the very best decision going forward.
The president was seen this week shaking hands during a Medal of Freedom ceremony, despite officials on the White House coronavirus task force advising everyone against handshakes. But the vice president said he and the president will continue to shake hands with people. Members of Congress up for re-election this year are left to evaluate their own campaigns.
Just because somebody has the virus, just because you shake their hand, doesn't mean you're not automatically going to get it.
Some strategists say campaigns will have to get creative.
More of the communication with the public is going to have to go online.
Candidates could also conduct virtual town halls, spend more on TV ads, or simply use the telephone. The Democratic National Committee announced it will not have a live audience during its debate on Sunday night in Phoenix between Biden and Sanders. The committee said it's something that both of their campaigns requested. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Well, there are now more than 1,000 coronavirus cases in the United States, 19 of those here in Oregon. Worldwide, there are more than 115,000 cases and more than 4,000 deaths.
So for the latest developments on the coronavirus, make sure to visit our website at NBC16.com. You can also check out our app, KMTR News.
Well, moving on to a look at first weather now. NBC 16's meteorologist Josh Kozart joins us with what weather conditions to expect tonight. But first, a beautiful day today, Josh.
A stunning day yet again. I kind of feel like a little bit of a broken record, but with temperatures warming up close to 60 degrees, I'm all right with that statement. But really, we did warm up into the low 60s, Umpqua Valley, close to the 60-degree mark out towards the coast and through the southern Willamette Valley. But boy, the clear skies have really given us some great views out over the snow-capped Cascades as temperatures fall back into the upper 50s at this point in time. Radar and satellite just shows a few fair weather cirrus clouds above our head, but it's going to be another cold night tonight as we dip down into the 30s, close to the freezing mark. The sunshine, though, it returns yet again tomorrow, and we have one more warm day before the bottom drops out and those snow potentials really start to slide their way closer to the valley floor, so we'll be tracking that very closely in my full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh. Well, a Douglas County man was arrested on a child sex abuse charge. Oregon State Police stopped 21-year-old Brandon Olinger while driving and found a 15-year-old girl in the car with him. Police determined the teen did not have permission to be with him. Yesterday, Winston Police Department performed a search warrant at his house and seized several electronics. State Police believe that there may be more victims. Anyone with information is asked to contact State Police.
The former West Eugene Hynix factory is going to an online auction in less than 2 weeks. The starting bid for the 200-acre property is set at $1.5 million. The land is being marketed as the Eugene Technology Center. Its closure in 2008 left 1,100 people without work. Onward Eugene Director Matt Sayer says community partners are working to get the word out about the 3-day auction,
to ensure that a lot of regional organizations or companies perhaps out of Seattle or San Francisco will take note of this opportunity.
New York-based Corning Company is still listed as the owner of the campus. It purchased the facility for just under $13 million in 2017, but never reopened the plant. Before that, the complex was owned by the company that later became Broadcom.